guys. Some of you had a little trouble on the homework, and I wanted to show you a cool trick. One, make a note for yourself. I'll also put it in the slides of the lesson. But remember, an open dot means that you're using it to graph either a less than or greater than inequality. And a closed dot, like I think of it as building a wall around that number. It means it doesn't include that number, so you're building a wall around it. If it's a closed dot or colored in, that means that it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So it includes that number. You're including it in that part. Okay, here's a little trick because some people are having a hard time figuring out which way the arrows went. You had your arrows going backwards. And I think this happens the most often when it's the number and then the variable. So the number on the left, the variable on the right. You can flip it around. Like right now, this is saying 6 is bigger than x. So x is something that's smaller than 6, but it might be easier to flip it. Put the x on the left, but if you flip it, you have to flip the inequality, because this here, so we're saying x is smaller than 6. Here we're saying 6 is greater than x. It's the same thing. X is some number smaller than 6. Once you have variable on the left, number on the right, and I know that I'm going to have an open dot, you make your arrow go in the direction that the inequality is pointing. So I know I'm going to use an open dot at 6. Here's 6, open dot, because it's greater than, or it's a less than. And then my inequality is pointing that way, so my arrow's going to copy that. It's the same shape going the same direction. So you can use that trick if your variable's on the left and your number's on the right. Let's try this one. I'm going to flip-flop. 6 is greater than or equal to x. I'm going to flip that around, make the inequality go from a greater than to a less than 6. So in both of these, the alligator's eating 6 or any number bigger than 6 because it's the bigger one. We've just flipped it around. I know I have a closed dot. Oh, yeah, closed dot because it includes that number, and it's going to point down. I'm going to point in the same direction, going this way. A couple more. I'm going to flip it so that I can make my arrow point in the same direction as my inequality. I'm going to put my x on the left. I got to go from a less than to a greater than -3. So x is greater than -3. I have an open dot. It does not include -3. So I'm going to put a wall around that. -3 cannot be included. And then I'm going to make an arrow pointing that same direction. It's bigger than. That means it goes to the right on the number line. Finally, one more. Flip it so that x is on the left. Flip the inequality. The alligator's still got to try to eat the x because it's bigger. -3. All right. Closed dot because it includes that number. And then my arrow is going to point in that direction. So sometimes rewriting it so that your variable's on the left and the numbers on the right helps you figure out which direction your arrow needs to go. All right. I hope that helps a little bit.